All right, it's Monday, July 7th, 2025, and I got a journey ahead of me. 14 kilometers through this mountain pass. So wish me luck. Now would you look at that? Isn't that beautiful? And then every so often you come across one of these. The pipeline shutoff valves. Imagine they're emergency shutoffs owned by Shell. That is quite something. And there's a nice young lady up ahead. I stopped for a minute and she passed by, and she'd been following me for the last couple kilometers. And as she went by, I asked her, "Aren't you worried about following an old creepy guy into the woods?" She didn't respond too well to that comment, but I thought it was funny. And then I said to her, "Sorry about that comment. I'm a YouTuber. You know, I'm kind of weird." And I was feeling all proud and, you know, cocky about it. She's like, "Oh, that's okay." She says, "I'm part of a film crew and the other group is up in the mountain filming already, so we're all kind of weird." Moose Mountain Compressor Station. Obviously owned by Shell. No unauthorized personnel beyond this point. Here's a bit of a better look instead of through the trees. Another look at the stack. Golly, I love gas and oil. You can take all that EV crap and shove it up your ass. So if you're an environmentalist or eco-friendly and all that kind of crap, you're on the wrong channel. This one's massive. Danger, poisonous gas. Ooh, almost looks like a ladder you can climb over. Probably not. High pressure sour gas pipeline. Wow, wowee. Isn't that something? Anywho's, I gotta sit down for a minute, take some of this clothes off because it's getting hot, have a drink of water and rest, and we'll be on our way again. Oh, that's better. It's really starting to warm up now. I actually had to take my woolly socks off too, because I still had them on from this morning. It was quite chilly this morning. So you might ask yourself, Ronald, why all over the country do you see these stacks with flames coming out of it? What a waste. Well, the answer is simple. All these pumping stations and storage stations, they obviously put off a lot of pressure. So they, instead of just putting it in the air as poisonous gas, they burn it off. It's way more environmentally friendly. And don't worry about the environment. There's enough trees within 1 square mile to soak in all that carbon. Doesn't matter what the government tells you. But I can imagine that pumping station is probably enough to supply the whole town of Carmen with gas and oil. It's quite amazing if you think about it. And everything runs very efficiently. There's probably gas turbines to power up the place, so there's no hydro lines everywhere. Very eco-friendly again. And take a look at this. I can imagine that's why it's called Canyon Creek. Not a very big creek, but it's a big canyon. Wow. Stunning. So the trail that I was on earlier, before it came into this road, I saw so many tracks, deer tracks, and seen squirrels and chipmunks and birds everywhere, and I even seen some cow tracks. Yeah, it's kind of funny because when you come into these mountains or the foothills, There's cattle gates everywhere, and the cows are just walking loose. They can go where they please, even into the Canyon Creek if they wanted to, I guess. The sausage was left over from, what the? They're beaver, or what's going on here? Where'd he go? That was so bizarre. Oh, there he is. I don't even know what that is. Hello, little guy. But he's scared shitless. There's a couple dogs coming down the road, so I think he's trying to hide from the dogs. I have no idea what that is. So bizarre. Looks like a huge gopher. What in the wide world is that? You know what that is?
Marmot.
A what?
Marmot.
Marmot.
There's full of them here.
Wow, I've never seen something like that. I'm from Manitoba, so I'm all new to this.
Oh, yeah.
So apparently these are marmots. Wow! Did you hear that? That was loud. I'm gonna have to do some research on that. Wow! Unbelievable. Marmots. Yeah, I hear you. You don't have to be so loud. Pretty big voice box for a little guy. Crazy. And as I'm walking off, he's still yelling at me. I guess he doesn't like me very much. Can't say I blame him. Ooh, I wonder if he'd be good eating. Sorry, bad joke again. I just can't believe how loud they are for such a little guy. But back there, first that thing, I thought it was gonna lunge at me. Scared the crap out of me. And then the dog, yeah, if he wasn't on the leash, he was gonna attack me. And then that marmot thing screamed at me. So that was 3 heart attacks in a row. I think that's enough for one day. Sometimes you have to look back at an incident and really replay it through your mind. And I was a little confused there at first because dogs especially really like me. I always got along very well with dogs. And all of a sudden that dog just took a lunge at me, and the guy didn't have him on leash. I'm sure he would have attacked. But then it occurred to me, I have this selfie stick in my hand with a cell phone on it. I was waving it all over, and he was probably being protective of his owners, thinking it was a weapon or something like that. So either a very smart dog or well trained, but either way, sometimes you have to look at an incident and figure out why, what happened, instead of freaking out and, you know, calling the cops and the UN and your local minister and everything. Just give it a while, have a good thunk about it, and usually it's not nearly as bad as you think. But how do you like this backpack? This thing is huge. I forget how many liters it's supposed to carry, but I bought this quite a few years ago on my tour through the Mojave Desert. Yeah, I didn't make it. I never even got there actually. I flew to Las Vegas, stayed there in a hotel overnight, and I was going to walk to the Mojave Desert and just explore the desert for a while. Well, I'm from Manitoba, and by that time it was I think late September, so it was starting to cool off and everything already. And I get to Las Vegas and it was 28 degrees, and let me tell you, 28 degrees in Manitoba is absolutely beautiful. Usually you have a little bit of a wind, lots of shade, cool shade. In Las Vegas, 28 degrees is hot. You get nothing but pavement for miles and miles. The heat waves are coming off. There's no shelter except for, you know, restaurants and whatnot. And then you go in there and they're all set for 21 degrees. So you freeze your ass off when you go in there. Yeah. So I only lasted, I think it was only a day. I literally, I think I was walking for probably about 6 hours, and then I got a taxi back to the airport, took the next flight right back to Calgary, and then to Winnipeg. And that was it for the adventures. And you should have seen the look on my nephew's face when I walked back in the house. He was not amused. Kind of funny. Alright, that was tough getting up again. Had a bit of a rest. Ate a half rotten banana for energy. Had to smoke, that's especially important. And a drink of water, and we're on our way again. And I suspect the second part of this journey is going to be way tougher than the first. I see this big hill coming up, and then I know I have to do some rock climbing, so that'll be fun. I'm sure I'm going to feel this for a while. My hands are not very steady, and of course I'm zoomed out as far as I can. Way down in that valley, you can probably see, yeah, that's ice. That's how cold it is in these canyons. I'll stay away from there, thank you very much. It's now 3 days later. I had a rest at third base camp. And now for the final part of this journey. Do me a favor, put your finger right by the 911 button. I might need you to press it very soon. I tell you what, the old heart is hammering away right now. Yeah, I've been smoking for almost 40 years. Partaked in many of cool, refreshing beverages for the last 40 years. My body is just not liking me right now. Bit of a decline here again. So I'm also talk to you about one of the videos. I think it was the second video that I put on, and I might have scared some of you, and quite frankly I was scared myself. So I'll go through the whole story. Probably about 4 months ago or so I had a kind of a breakdown, a nervous breakdown if you can call that. So I was off of work for quite a while, and of course when you go to the doctor, you know, I was on some depression pills, or no, anxiety pills, and high blood pressure pills, and then more high blood pressure pills, and he says, well, we're going to put you on some more medication. So he introduced to me a fourth pill, so that was wonderful. And then to be really blunt, my system starts shutting down. I had massive diarrhea for like 4 months now, actually, and then it turned black. And of course you go back to the doctor and, oh, we're gonna have to run some more tests, you know, blood samples, scans, blah blah, you name it. And so I bluntly asked him, do you think it could be cancer? And he's like, well, we're gonna have to do a bunch of tests to figure that out. And at that point I was just like, I'm done. I'm so done with you guys. It could be cancer, it could be this, it could be that. Yeah. So basically, I weaned myself off all the medications. Every single one of them. No more anxiety pills. No more high blood pressure pills. I had quite enough of all that. And then I decided to go on this trip to improve my life, to yeah, go on some adventures, because I got rather sick of just sitting at home. And as a famous movie quote once said, get busy living or keep, and as a famous movie quote said one time, get busy living or get busy dying. Well, I'm not waiting around no more. That's why I'm going on these adventures. I hope that clears a few things up. Unlike my diarrhea after the 3-day fast, it was better. But I think I'm gonna have to do a 7-day fast to flush everything out, and it's probably gonna take a while to flush all the toxins from the medications and everything. Smoking? Nah, it's not bad for you. Kids, don't let your parents tell you it is. It's totally fine. Look at me. So seriously now, on one of those pink notes, there is one note about quit smoking. Drastically reduce my alcohol intake to at least 1 bottle of wine a night, and that's it, okay? No more than that. Or a 26er, no more. According to Google Maps, I'm not even halfway there yet. Remarkably, Google Maps seem to work up here. I wonder if it's because we were closer to the satellites. Anyways, not even a park bench up here. I have to sit on a log. Wow, rude. So rumor has it that there's this old native medicine man out on top of the mountain, and he's somewhat of a seer. So I'm going up there to see my future. Apparently he's 1,000 years old. Lived in this hills all his life, and he knows everything. He probably knows that I'm coming, and he's taken off. This is probably one of the toughest things I had to do in a long time. But look at this view. It's absolutely crazy. Sorry, my hands are shaky and I'm zoomed out all the way. And it's very hard to see on film how far away that is. It's probably not that far if you roll all the way down. I tell you what, my sense of humor really disappeared right about now. I'm disoriented, dizzy. One misstep up here and you're in for a world of hurt. Forgive me for my shaky camera, but there's a mountain goat sitting up there. Well, if he can do it, so can I. It appears the goats led me to the wrong path. Don't ever trust the goats. The path I'm looking for is right there. So now I have to scramble down these rocks and hopefully don't start a landslide. But I would be on the news. I had to gird my loins for the last part of this journey. And I can just see it a couple hundred feet of top of me. I'll show you what I mean. My pants keep falling off because I'm sweating so much. So I tied my, don't look at my belly. So I tied my backpack up to my pants, Hutterite style. I really wish I had a GoPro for this now, because I really need two hands. I do actually have a Chinesium GoPro, but I forgot the electric charger somewhere, and for some reason it doesn't want to charge the batteries with a cigarette lighter, so that doesn't work no more. And that's why I started a GoFundMe page, so I can raise some money for some proper camera equipment to bring you more spectacular views like this. And this. And what's about to come. Yes, I'm taking it super easy right now. One carefully planted foot in front of the other. Because you really don't want to slip up here. Oops. Almost slipped up here. My legs are shaking. Harder and harder time getting a good footing. Oh, bother. As Jordan would say, good gravy. I tell you what, a helicopter would have been a hang of a lot easier. Absolutely spectacular. Now don't kid yourself. You may be thinking, hey, you're almost there. It gets easier from now on. Nope. Trust me, I've done enough mountain climbing in BC when I lived there to know that going down is sometimes even harder than going up. And the reason why, you're rolling your feet all the time. Gravity is pulling you down, so it's always pulling you forward. It's way harder to get a good footing when you're going down a slope like this. Whew, am I making you sick yet? That is actually level right there. So I would dare to say at least a 40-degree angle. Yeah, going down I think it's going to be even more painful. But it will be worth it. Trust me. I tell you what, you have to fight hard for every foot up here. Now I can just imagine, if you're not used to mountain climbing, don't even bother. I had a bit of experience when I was living in BC. Back in the old days. And all I had was film camera. You remember those things. Send it away in the mail. Get it back in the week. And somebody took a picture of their butt crack that you didn't even know about. That old native medicine man, he must have been one big dude. But like I said, he knew I was coming and he ran out of here. Well, the guy finally made it. To be really honest, I went to the top of that mountain, discovered I was on the wrong mountain. I ran down that valley and I ran all the way up here between the last take, and now I have arrived. And this is why I was struggling so hard to get up here. The famous ice caves of the foothills of Alberta. And let me tell you, I am shitting my pants. I am crapping my pants. There's all sorts of noises come out of this cave. Cracks and creaks and groans. When I go further in, you'll probably hear it. And never mind that. This whole rock wall looks like it's going to come down any second now. So even if I talk too loud, that could all come down. So complete silence from now on, please. There's a bit of a ledge there, so you can see around the corner all the way down the valley, but I'm not going there. I hate heights. Yeah, love mountains, hate heights. So let's go further in. So as you can tell, I got my hoodie back on, my sweater. Got my old woolies in my pocket because it is cold in here. There's a cold wind blasting through here. And of course, sooner or later you're going to get icy rocks. So it makes it even more dangerous. And here's what I was hearing. It's just dripping from the ceiling. And I dare say these ceilings are 60 feet high, something like that. Let's turn you around and you lead the way. I'm roping up to you, okay? I'm counting on you. Don't let me go. Funny, probably about a mile back, I was thinking, we're almost there, and we're still not there. It is 12:53 right now, and I started at 8 o'clock this morning. So it took me 5 hours just to get to this point. Now granted, I'm severely out of shape, so a fit guy could do this in probably about 12 minutes. But I ain't he. I am me. Hey, Dr. Zeus. I did bring a little flashlight with me. And of course the cell phone light. And I was told it goes in for quite a ways. I really suspect I'm gonna need a couple days off after this. I hope you can forgive me, but I'm gonna be hurting for a while. Nope, no Bigfoot in there. Not nearly big enough. Ah. Deem. Maybe that's Bigfoot name. Yeah, the rocks are starting to get all slippery. I don't know if you can see that. They got a sheen on them. I slipped on one rock already. Wow. Really curious to see how far this goes. And like I said, it is cold in here. It just got out of winter. Not that long ago. So don't ask me why I'm doing this. Absolute fool. I have to use the camera light to even see where I'm going. I don't know how this is going to show up in camera, but I can't see nothing. I get another little flashlight in my pocket. Maybe I'll use that to go further ahead. Oh, not very good flashlight at all. See if I can do this. Hold the camera, flashlight, my trusty stick, walking stick that I've been carrying for probably the last 5 kilometers. When you're this old, you need a walking stick. Just kidding. Not that old. Wow, look at this. I bet you this thing fills out with water every spring. That's why it's pretty flat. I don't know if we're at the end or not. Look at all the ice. Yeah, I think that's it. I was under the impression it goes in for a long ways. And no, well, how far does a guy want to go to be buried alive? Hey, somebody had a fire in here. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the end. Wow. Spectacular. Uh-oh. We'll edit that out. Ooh, is that... on camera. Looks like there's fluorescent paint on the wall. It's Bigfoot's trap, I'm sure of it. And they're not smart. Ha! They know how to trap you. Wow. That's not what I was expecting. Fluorescent paint. Somebody had forethought. Anywho's, I'll meet you back at the entrance. So I'm gonna put my camera away now. Concentrating on getting off this mountain. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for another epic adventure. So my legs were starting to cramp up on the way down. I'm probably about 5 kilometers from the parking lot yet. And you guessed it, I'm in my shorts. But my legs need to cool down. And this is a good way how to do it. It's about another hour before I get to my truck. I think I grinding more bones, endured more pain, shed more tears on this mission than I have ever done in my whole entire life. And hey, you can join me for these adventures too. It's $100 a day. But if I have to coddle you, you know, change your diapers, make food for you, do your laundry, that's all extra. But you're more than welcome to come.